David is going to present on Davinci Resolve, and I'll let David do all the introductions. So it's your show, buddy.
Rock on, rock on. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick so everybody can see. Got a presentation. Let's see if we can do it. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, is it working? Okay, there it goes. All right. So just kind of give a brief introduction. As he said, I'm David Limbach. I teach at Camden County High School down in Southeast Georgia. This is actually my third year teaching AV. However, my background is actually in more theater and not AV. I did in college, undergrad I did theater and grad I did theater. And I worked as an actor for a while. So this is kind of something that I've just been learning on the go. And just in the small time I've been teaching. But I have done some technology work or, work with some kind of stuff like this a little bit while during grad school and a little bit of editing. So a lot of the stuff that I'm probably going to be presenting is stuff that you guys already know about, or at least, have worked with other editing softwares and things. So this is not anything new for you. But like I said, I had some journalism experience, so this has kind of helped me as well. But this is just a brief overview of Blackmagic Davinci Resolve. As I said, it's a nonlinear editing software, but it was required, Blackmagic acquired it back in 2010 from Davinci Systems. And there are two versions of this particular software. There's a free version, and there's also a studio version. The studio version is about $300. And that's per seat. I'm not sure about an educational discount or anything like that, or a bulk discount, but I do know that if you get it as an individual, it's about $300, and it gets free updates. It's just a one-time fee, and you're done. You own it. So there, like I said, the two different versions. The free version is a full-featured software. The premium features, some of the premium features will have watermark on it. So that you kind of know that you've reached the limitations, and it gives you a warning, and I'll show you that in a little bit, saying that you've reached the warning or reached the threshold or a point where the free program doesn't have this option. The studio version, like I said, has more of those features. However, when I was looking at the software, I was asking myself, what are the needs of my program? What's the needs of the classroom? What do I need? Do I need to go ahead and pay for this now? Or, how's this going to work? And we'll kind of explore some of those things in just a minute. But to kind of give you an idea, there is, and I can put it in the chat momentarily, but there is a document that Blackmagic put together that will actually give you a side-by-side comparison between the features of the paid studio version and the free version as well. I might add, the free version is fully functional, like I said, editing and with not just video, but graphics, and as well as audio. But there are some, like I said, the limitations, but this one will give you kind of a breakdown. However, it is from the previous version, and they haven't quite updated that document just yet that I've seen. As I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons that I chose this is because I was starting a brand new program. I had a greater need for getting equipment more so than actually getting software. I wanted to have a professional quality non-linear editing software at a fraction of the cost. So the cost was a huge contributing factor to what I wanted to do here. But I also discovered through the YouTube that there are some professionals, the way for professionals that are leaving other major software or non-linear editing software and moving toward this platform. Mainly, a lot of those people are people who are, like they own their own business. They're private companies that are doing that. A lot of, I have also heard in my research or read in my research, companies, film companies that used Davinci Resolve strictly for their color correction or color grading, and that's what it got its name for. That's what kind of built the momentum for Davinci Resolve. Another thing that drew me to DaVinci Resolve was the fact that there was a lot of training, free training, textbook, so to speak. It's a PDF document, and I'll show you in just a second. And there are tons of lessons as well that are on their website. Just to kind of give you an idea, this is what the document, the textbook, so to speak, is. It's about 400 pages. I'm not sure if you can see that. 444 pages. And just a wealth of different things. Let me back up out here, see if maybe you can see. I mean, a ton of step-by-step instructions for you to go through. But it also has on their website a training section where you can watch videos on learning how to edit with it, color grade with it, use some of their products like the mini panel that works specifically with this platform. Work with the Fusion, the virtual effects and graphics, 3D, work with the audio production. There's all these videos here, managing the media and delivering the content. But also the cool thing is you can download project files and actually work side by side with the textbook and go through the lessons together, lessons with it. So, let me go back here, excuse me. Okay. All right. So like I said, there are 4 major elements to DaVinci Resolve. There are 4 tabs, so to speak. There is the edit tab, where you do a major portion of the editing of your video. Secondly, there's the color grading, as I mentioned earlier. That's what drew a lot of people to this particular platform, was the fact that it was such a great color grader, correction, whatever. There's also the Fusion tab, which is your 3D graphics platform. This is kind of like your After Effects. And then finally, you also have the audio editing platform called Fairlight, and that's obviously like Audition for those of you guys who use the Adobe. But the cool thing is that with this platform, with this software, there's no need to export in and out to go to different programs. This all works in real time. So if you're editing your video and you move to color grade or color correct something, it fixes it in real time. So when you go back to your editing timeline, it's there. Or you do the same thing in the audio platform, Fairlight, and you make some changes and you go back to your editing platform or the editing tab, and it's there. It's done. So just kind of as a little side note, the system requirements, according to a third-party site that I've found, I haven't found this specifically on Blackmagic's site, but this company or this site benchmarked it. So this is what they recommend for Mac users, at least Mac OS 10 or higher, which I think is where we are right now. I'm not a Mac user, so you guys who are Macs could probably tell me. 16 gigs of memory at least. 32 is recommended when using your graphics, the 3D Fusion. For Windows, you're looking 16 gigs, same thing, 32 gigs if you're using Fusion. And also for you nerds like myself, it's available for Linux. But they require 32 gigs for memory, minimum of memory. I'm not sure why that's the difference, why it's so much more, but I do think it's interesting that it's available for all 3. All right, so the next thing I'd like to explore is what the interface looks like. I do want to kind of preface this saying that when it comes to the Fusion, the graphics, or the color correcting, I am an extreme novice. I'm still a novice with everything, but I can walk you through the basics and kind of give you an idea of what the interface looks like and go from there. So let me kind of give you an idea. I'll go and start the program. By the way, there's my 2 sons. They're a mess. Has anybody used DaVinci Resolve? Nope. Okay. James has. Oh, Adam has too. Cool. Excuse me. It is not completely web-based. You can actually download it. You actually download it, and it's not self-contained. I can't remember the name of the term, but it's an actual program that you install. Okay, so this is your project screen here. The way Davinci Resolve is set up, it uses a database to organize all your projects. You can create databases on several different drives. I have, if you see here, I'm not sure if it shows up, but these two databases were created on our school's server. And this one here is obviously, it says local database. This is one that's specifically on my hard drive. So you can use multiple drives. If you have an external drive, like a RAID or something like that, then you could use that as well. Excuse me. So I have a project that I've created that is really just very, it's blank. I literally just hit new project here, named it, and created it. So that's all we have here. So we just skip that step. So we're going to kind of open it up and just explore importing media, going through the interface, and then answer any questions that we may have here. As you can see, it's probably very similar to some of the stuff that you've used before. You have two different screens here, your program, your preview, your program, your timeline. Over here, you have all your media pool and different transitions. You can kind of organize this however you want. I will say one of the cool things I like about Adobe Premiere is that you can move these to different places, or you can move them to a different screen. I use the free version, so what you're seeing is the free version. I'm not sure if with the paid version you can do a little bit more with that, but this is what I have. So we'll rock with that, man. So hide this. So here are your different tabs that I mentioned earlier. You have these two. I'll be honest with you, I don't use these nearly as much. This is the media where you can just organize or import different clips, audio, whatever. Your cut page is something that's relatively new in version 16. It's a great way to do rough cuts to get things started. Then you move into your edit tab, and that's when you really start getting down to the nitty gritty. And then here you have your Fusion tab, or the 3D graphics. And that takes a minute because it's pretty powerful. And we'll go through that as well in just a moment. I have a couple of projects that will open up. You have your color tab, and it's all kinds of things here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Premiere uses, and Avid uses, or Final Cut Pro as well. They use LUTs as well, right? They have the ability to use LUTs, am I correct? Okay. So you have the ability to do that, get all kinds of, I got a bunch of free ones. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff online. So literally I've downloaded these jokers and have used these a lot. You can adjust, the color however you want to. And once I get a clip in here, we'll take a look at it in a bit. You can stabilize a clip, say it's kind of a little shaky from a hand cam, or maybe it's just you're on a bus or something, or maybe you're on a train and you want to kind of stabilize it. You can pick something on there and it will help stabilize it for you. Stabilize the clip. You can chroma key, work with green screen, and so on and so on. But both Fusion and the color grading uses what's called a node platform. Well, think of it as layers. So each time you add a layer, it affects everything behind it. And the more you add, you can just add multiple nodes, and what you do with one node doesn't affect, it only affects that particular node. So it's what you're seeing. So if you take out that one node, it doesn't affect anything else. I'll explain in just a second a little bit more. It's probably a poor explanation for it. And here is Fairlight. This is the audio editing platform. And then here is the Deliver tab, where obviously you can export. There's already some templates that you have set up. You can export directly to YouTube, Vimeo, Final Cut Pro, Premiere, Avid, Pro Tools, audio only. There's all sorts of ways that you can export. Some people use Davinci Resolve, like I said earlier, just specifically for the color correction, import their project from Premiere or from Avid or Final Cut Pro and import it in there, fix whatever they want to fix, and then export back it as Premiere. So let's kind of just run through and take a look at the interface. Like other platforms, I like to use bins. Do you guys use like folders within your media pool? That's, yeah, it saves so much time. I typically use, like I'm sure you guys have as well, the set one for audio, set one for B-roll, graphics, and so on and so on. But I usually kind of set that up as well. So we'll kind of just drag some stuff in here. In fact, let's just do this. Let me open up a new one. One I've already created, so you kind of have an idea. And this is actually what I'm about to show you. This is one of the training modules or training clips. See if do you get sound? Do y'all hear sound? Okay, good. I don't want it to drive you guys crazy. All right, so, alrighty. So as you can see, you can do multiple layers just like in any other program, and you can do as many as you want. I have not found a limitation whatsoever. So this is like I said, the free platform. So I can move around however I wish. Oh, let's do it. I'm sorry, I opened up the wrong one. Okay. All right. So just like anywhere else, you have your audio on the bottom, and you can adjust it and however you want to see it. Let me zoom in here. With the audio here, you can adjust the audio up and down in your in the edit tab, or if you want, you can move on to Fairlight. So you have that ability to move it there. You can do simple drag and drops into your timeline as well to get these clips in there. So if I want to add another video here, I can, like I said, literally drop it in there. I can look at my preview and find specific points, in and out points, just like you can anywhere else, and just pull that in, either just the audio, just the video, or both by pulling it in there as well. Did you have a question, Jack? Looked like you were raising your hand. Okay, rock on, rock on. So, any questions thus far at all? Okay, rock on. Okay. All right, so there are, let's go here. Let's take a look at the transitions, just to kind of give you an idea. You have your basic transitions here, your dissolves and smooth cuts. I rarely, you guys probably don't either, but I rarely use any kind of iris transitions. The only one that doesn't use iris transitions, like a diamond or hexagon, or kind of, yeah. Pushes, all these things are available. There's also some fancier ones that you can get, but I have not ran into any problem at all using any of these transitions. Audios, crossfade transitions. You even have some titles here. You can add text. These are the Fusion titles have 3D effects. These are all included. True, that's right, Jack. But at least it was consistent in all the Star Wars films. But I will say, when you start using the 3D titles, like I like the superhero one, we'll have fun with this one. It takes a minute for it to kind of load. I'm not sure if you can see that red line right here, but because it's a graphics, 3D, it takes some time to cache. But you can edit that, and these, like I said, these are with the free one. There are some. Actually, I haven't found any of the titles that are limited at all. So you have these all available to you. It's a pretty big file. Can y'all see that? Did it go through? Okay. I always question whether or not the graphic or the resolution is good during Google Meets. Let's see here. here's some effects. You can do audio effects. Let's see here. Dehummer. You can change modulation. All this can be done in here in the editing tab, or you can go to Fairlight and do it in the audio tab. So let's move on to kind of some other things as well, some of the Fusion tabs. So basically, it's obviously, I don't think I need to go over how the editing and the timeline. That's pretty much basic through everything. Through other, what's it called, editing platforms. So a lot of that's pretty similar. You can add different gradient effects as well, as you can see there, literally just a drag and drop. Some of those are available in the free version, and some of them are not, but it's very, you still have a pretty good bit with the free version. We'll take a look at Fusion here, just to kind of give an idea. So like I said, this is your node-based system here. This is what your finished product, your media out. And you can punch it in either one of these screens here. So if I go here, adjust the elements of the effects. Oh, you mean like the placement? Is that what you're asking? Like the lines and things like that? Degree of, I believe you can through here. Let me look and see, because this is all grouped together. Let me zoom in here. Let's see, line color. So if I double click that, and you have what's called the inspector tab, right? Yes, and you can change it however you want here, like change the color. Yeah, you can adjust it however you want. You can adjust the keyframe, placement, and things like that. So you can adjust these set 3D or graphic interfaces. Does that answer your question? Hoo-yah. Cool. So okay, let's see here. Add, see if I remember how to do this. Okay. So if I wanted to do a 3D text, I just added a 3D text node here. So I can come and it just pops up in my inspector. I just click on this and it gives me my inspector so I can type in text. Boom. And I can play with it however I want. I can change the extrusion as well. If I want to do the depth, make it wider, bigger, change color. And play with it that way. And you can add motion to this as well. So it's relatively simple to do. Well, I say it's simple, but it takes me a little bit to do that. So that kind of gives you that concept. Does anybody have any quick questions about this? Like I said, I'm not as nearly as comfortable with the 3D effects. What I have seen in the tutorials and in the lessons that we've started, we haven't quite got to this section when it comes to the lessons, but you literally can do green screen, like I said, green screen effect. You can do all kinds of 3D stuff. You can add a hub, almost like an Iron Man hub, within this platform as well. The layout. So I think what you're asking is I don't know. What's your question again? I'm sorry. Let me go through the chat here. Let me open it up. Okay, can you walk through? Oh, the flow of the arrows. I'm sorry. Yes. So each one of these, let's go back here. Okay. And put this one. Like let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. You can adjust the pitch, the direction of it, wherever you want to go there. So each one of these elements, and then you have the animation and then that affects this. So you have the line color, then you have your main text, where it comes from, and the direction of the main text. That's my extent. That may not answer your question, brother, but each one is the particular elements within, sort of. Sorry, brother. Like I said, I'm somewhat limited on this section of it. I'll be honest with you, brother. So, but each one, I honestly wish we had a way that everybody could kind of go online virtually and play with it. That was what I was trying to look for the past couple of days, but I haven't found anything. If you don't mind, I'm going to scoot over to the color editing. Like I said, I'm not as comfortable with the 3D portion just yet. I'm actually a Tyler Live fan, like Tom is, when it comes to graphics, because my main focus is actually broadcast more so than the film element. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of mosey on over to the color portion. Each one of these represents a particular clip that you can play with, adjust different lightings, and you can adjust it in several different manners. It's up to your liking and different. You can get a hue and saturation, hue and looms, adjust the saturation entirely in each level. So let me Control Z that. But the key is to use nodes in this one. So I'm going to add a new node here and a corrector node. So I'm going to go take this, funnel that through this corrector node, and funnel that to the main output. This is your finished product. So what I do in this node does not affect the previous node. Like if I don't like the change, I can just delete the node. I don't have to delete the entire, like it affects the clip permanently or anything like that. I mean, I guess you could do Control Z, but this makes it a little bit easier so you can see what elements you're working with. So for instance, if I want to kind of just change the tone just a little bit, that's a little too dark. Maybe that, maybe come in a little bit, the colors, pull it back. I'm going to make the colors more vivid, but yet it doesn't affect the previous one as well. You can even do, like I said, chroma key. If we go to the edit screen, let me go and put in a graphic to kind of give you an idea. Oh, let's do here. Say, for instance, you want to put in, you have a lower third that you want to put in. That's something that you created that has your own text, and you want it all to look the same, or maybe you just have, something outside of that, and you want to green screen that out. Come to our correct, and then I'm going to add a node and alpha channel, alpha output. Add a corrector. Boom, boom. And just funnel these jokers through. So I go here and I'll pick color. I was like doing it. Done. Okay, there it is. Ooh. Hit the wrong button. So just select that, and I can go here, flip it. Where is it? There it is. Okay, sorry. Forgot where it was. So yeah, so we have that, and the cool thing, you can go back to your edit one, and I think you could probably do this in other ones as well. Say, for instance, this is a second one. and I want to copy these exact same features, I will literally hit Control-C, select it, and do Alt-V. This is on PC. And you can tell it which ones to copy. This is just the color correction. So boom. And then you can add whatever transition you want. We use these for our scholarship presentation we did a while back. So that's kind of the color correction interface. Like I said, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can adjust. It's very specific or very integral. Let's move on to the audio element. And you have, for every audio input, or excuse me, every audio channel, you have that on your mixer here. And as you can see, you have your little preview here, so you know where you are in the timeline. Say, for instance, we wanted to adjust just audio 3, which is my soundtrack, and I wanted to add a compressor to it. So it doesn't get too loud. Oh, it's locked. Okay. I can add a compressor so that it doesn't reach, it only goes certain height, the threshold. It's never going to get any louder than that. So, or the gate, maybe it's, you want to have, maybe there's a soft sound in the background or something like that. You want to adjust it so that it doesn't pick up. You have only a certain volume that you want it to pick up. And if you want to reset, just go back and reset. And it does everything back to the default, which is kind of helpful. And I've used that a whole bunch, to be quite honest with you. So, and there's all sorts of effects that are already included. And like I said, this is the free one. So for instance, if we wanted to do some kind of reverb, we can add reverb to it, and you can adjust the specifics. How dry or wet do you want it to be? What's the reverb time? So on and so on. You can really get to fine tune your audio, and there's different particular like styles already, preloaded in there for you. Concert halls, whatever, studios, small theaters, and you can always reset if you don't like anything and kind of go back to it. So let's see. You can also adjust, I already did that one, I'm sorry. You can adjust the EQ as well for each channel, or for the main channel if you wanted to add that. You can adjust specifically, you can really fine tune it with this. There's different preloaded types if you want. It's already there. You can just kind of work with it however you want. You can add gain to it and so on and so on. So. And then obviously the deliver tab, you can deliver it to different formats and export it and stuff like that. So any questions at all or anything like that? Okay, let me make sure I cut over everything. Okay. Okay, so like I said, there are several tutorials that that I use that the students have used as well. The Blackmagic website is a great tool that we used. Has a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of YouTube videos that we found. Specifically, JRTV is really good. He has a bunch of stuff to kind of tell you, how to operate through it. And the Modern Filmmaker is another one as well that we found to do that. So. And I can open the floor to any questions or experiences or anything like that. Anybody like to add?
Any questions, anybody?
Dave, can you talk about exporting? Like, how are you, what options you have so far as getting out your finished video?
You mean like what kind of resolution, I think?
Yeah, what kind of presets and things like that are covered in the export?
Yeah, let me show you real quick if you don't mind. Did it let me? Oh, there it is. Okay, so here we are. So we're in the oh wait, make sure it's up. There it is. So we're in the export screen now. You can customize your resolution. If you have the studio version, you can do higher than 4K, or you can do 4K or higher. I know I can do it Ultra HD with my with the free version. I can go that high. You can change your bit rate as well, so to tell or the render rate, so it doesn't crash. It doesn't use up a bunch of your graphics card, because it uses a lot of the graphics card. That's where it pulls its energy from. But it has your presets you can do, like with you. I usually use like a YouTube preset and do 1080p, but there's also, you can do 2160p. You can adjust those as needed. You can do MP4s. You can go, let's see how Ultra HD looks like. It's the highest that I can go here. So it's 3840 by 2160. And you can export directly to YouTube and directly to Vimeo as well. Does that answer your question, Adam, or you're looking for something more specific, buddy?
No, that helps me out. I was wondering if you could also like export to an FTP server as well, or if it's just going to go to YouTube or Vimeo.
Let's see if it does. Let me go to custom. I don't see specifically an FTP server, so if it's like you're going directly to a website. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome if I had that step. Let's see if I have. I don't see it, and I'm not sure if the studio version has that option, to be quite honest with you.
Gotcha.
Looking. Network. No, it's network optimization. No, I don't see that that option. That is a cool option, though. That would be what, IMF? Nope. Yeah, I don't see that, brother. Well, unless actually, if you have it, do you have it mapped? And if you have it mapped on your computer, I wonder if that would be an option as well. Because if it's already mapped within your are you PC or you Mac?
PC.
So if you have the drive mapped in your file folder or your Windows Explorer, you should be able to do that, would you not? Isn't it essentially the same thing?
Well, I don't know if it would actually publish.
Yeah. I wondered if it's. I mean, is it going to your school server, or is it like just on an online server?
I was thinking maybe like exporting out and going to our NFHS page whenever we finally get that going.
Right on. That I don't see that at all. I didn't see that just yet. Now I haven't explored that, so I mean, it may be something that they have, but I haven't seen it and I haven't used it. But that does sound like it'd be really cool. That way, it takes out a bunch of steps. You don't have to worry about.
Right. Do you find that the program is pretty stable? Like whenever you're if you have to switch between apps or anything like that, that's not related to the program. So if you have to check it, while you're editing.
Oh, like email stuff. Like I haven't had issue at all. Like I've a whole lot, I should say. I have Outlook running right now. I have PowerPoint running right now. Acrobat and Chrome, which Chrome is will suck your system as much as I love Chrome. But so it runs pretty good. But my system, to kind of give you an idea, it has 32 gigs of RAM, 64-bit processor, as I'm sure you probably. I got an i7 processor, a 2.8 gigahertz. It's a ZBook, so it's a pretty good machine.
Gotcha.
But I don't know, like most of our stuff is at workstations and things like that, so haven't seen a whole lot of it. A lot of crashing or anything like that. The only time I've seen a lot of crashing is when I had a 2-hour video that I was trying to export at 1080p, about an hour and a half. And because I try to export it at the fastest resolution I could get, or the fastest bit rate possible, that's what hindered it. Like it just crashed. So I just lowered the bit rate and it did it like that. So
awesome. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I've used HitFilm before, and
yes,
HitFilm likes to be the only program you use.
But it's powerful though. It's a good program.
It's super powerful. Yeah, it's a great program, but it jealously it wants all your RAM. So
yeah, and to be quite honest with you, the reason that I've kind of stayed and wanted to really invest my time into this program is because of the cost, and because that's what I keep seeing are these professionals, these industry professionals, in probably more of a direction than most of my kids. Like most of my kids aren't going to go to like Hollywood or go to Atlanta and be filmmakers. They're going to probably work in local stations, or they're going to work in a small production company that does like local videos and things like that. So a lot of people are moving to this. In fact, there's a guy in Camden County. It's a hybrid media consultant. He's moving to Davinci. That's what. And his son was in my class, and his son told him about it. And he's like, "Oh, this is great." So I'm check it out. And because he was a big Premiere user, but he's also using for his other stuff outside of video editing. It's, oh gosh, what's the name of it? There's another lower end price wise. I'll have to think about it later. But anyway, it does video and it's like a suite basically. It's like Adobe, but much cheaper. You get like the audio editing, you get the effects, you get the video editing. It's just and then the photos, kind of like a Photoshop as well. I can't remember the name of it, to be honest with you, brother. But anyway. So.
All right, well, thank you.
Rock on, brother. Any other questions? Anybody want to see something? Maybe I can show you. I know I was kind of limited with some of the options, especially the fusion. But is there anything maybe in particular? I can show you a project that has. I might be able to some of that already. Let's see if I can.
Hey, David, this is Bill Phelps. Maybe if you just look at one of your existing projects and just add a clip or two so we can see your steps as you go through your preview, add your in and out, add on in, add a transition type thing.
Sure. And Randy, I'll get to that question just if you don't mind. I'll leave that open so I'll remind. Let me go ahead and pop up on one of ours. Let's see here. I'll do this one. Actually, that's probably not a good one. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. There it is. I'll pop up, and this is what we did for. Let me go. Am I sharing? No, I'm not. All right. So, this is the national anthem that our chorus put together for our scholarship night. I used each clip. Let's see, let me come in here real quick. So for each one of these, I had to find, like Bill said, an in and out point for each particular one. Let's go here and look and pop this one into the preview. So let's see here. Okay, let's show me my in and outs. Okay. Okay. So, for instance, if they each have a timer, like they're counting at the very beginning, so I can sync it up. So if I'm looking at her, and you can't hear it, but I'll find it. Oh, she didn't count. She counts. 1, 2, 3, 1. Boom. So I know she counts. She stops counting after the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put my in and out point there. And just drag through. And I want to end with that little nice little smile end point. So literally, I'm just going to take that, drag it down. Booyah. Hashtag booyah. And if I want to just kind of make that nice, just come in with a nice little edited, dissolve. Just add the joker there. Now, if I messed up with my in and out points, just like you can in Premiere or anything like that, you literally can just pull it or fine tune it inside there and sync up. Is that what you're talking about, Bill? Something like that?
Yep.
Cool, man. All right. So, and somebody else had a question. I haven't run into a whole lot of limitations at all, Randy. There was one thing I wanted to show everybody. Let's go to Fusion to do it. There is some filters that you can't use. There are filters that you can't use. Let's see, clips. No, I'm sorry, it's in color. Okay. So for instance, let's go here. If I want to do, let's see here. Where's that filter? Okay. If I want to do like a lens blur or something like that, I'll just drag it. Come on now. Maybe it's an edit. Okay, there it is. It's an edit. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind, y'all. So if I do a lens blur, I can just drop it here. And this is where you get the pop-up. You've reached the limitation of it. So you can buy it now for $299. You can say not yet, but at least you get, here it is. Come on, man.
Is that a one time or is that a?
Yeah, it's a one time. Yeah, once you pay for it, you're done. You got it, and you get the free updates too.
Nice.
So this is, I'm not sure, can y'all see that? I'm not sure how clear it is, but the watermark, but you can at least see the effect and what kind of effect it has to the image. Mosaic, and you can adjust that too by going to the inspector. You can adjust the different levels. You can lower the frequency. You just kind of make it however you want, strength, smooth it out. See, let's do a zoom blur. You do that. And you could turn them off too. It's kind of sick. But anyway, and you can adjust each one however you need to. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of plus sides to just the free version alone. And the fact that they have so many, so much content that you can use to incorporate in the classroom has helped me a lot. So, what else? Oh, on the mix. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Is the Bill? Looks like you asked, is the audio by clip or track on the mixer? It's by track, but you can adjust. I want to say you can adjust each individual clip too, if I remember correctly. I'll have to go back and look. Maybe I think it is by track. Yep.
Okay, so I would just have to do the individual audio editing within the editing program, and then if I want whole tracks, set the compression or whatever for the entire track or limiter.
Right.
Whole track. Okay, thank you.
You bet, bud. Cool. All righty.
Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and engaging. And all right.
Rock on, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to me stumble over my words.